Guess what, Dr. Colleen?
We are live. We are live. We are live. I'm not letting you steal it this time. No, I'm just
No, I don't like it. I mean, on those rare occasions, it felt right, but it also felt really wrong.
No, it sounded amazing. It felt right. It sounded right. All the things.
Thank you.
All right, let's jump in.
Do it.
All right, we are back for our pre-recorded episode of We Built a Bridge. I do love these pre-records. They're they're all fun, but I feel like the pre-records are really fun.
Yeah.
So as a reminder, the pre-record is really set up for those of you that are listening because we want you to engage and interact with us. So after you've listened to the recording, share your feedback in the comments so that we can then take those comments and discuss them on our next live show. So We Built a Bridge, as a reminder, was founded with the core interest of creating a funnel of conversation that many hesitate to engage in. My dear friend Christine is a purpose and transformation coach for women. And myself, Colleen, I am a culture consultant to small businesses. United, we offer different perspectives on communication, culture, and life fulfillment to guide you toward a life with integrity and curiosity. Did you get all the pointing right?
I got it all wrong. I got it all wrong. I mean, I was doing this and then I went with my thumb and it was still going the wrong way. And I don't know, you're somewhere. There you go. Well, thank you so much always for setting us up so beautifully, Dr. Colleen Saringer. Let's just get into it because today I think is going to be quick and to the point because we have a super important question for each other and that we want to ask our listeners because, of course, getting our listeners' feedback and how they respond to this question is so important because it's what we plan to talk about during our live show. So as you already mentioned, but here we go. So we wrapped up episode 16 by asking one another how we planned to apply our newfound awareness about the importance of self-reflection and communication. Colleen, both you and I choose to apply it to our work and the clients we work with. So when we face the facts, we mutually appreciate how challenging communication is for teams at work, as well as between just two people, right? So it's not just about teams. This got us talking more and asking why communication is so hard for everyone. So Colleen, I want to set you up here and ask you what a lot of people think might be an easy question to answer, but I don't think so. So Colleen, why do you think communication is so hard?
Here's my short answer. And then I promise I have a couple of additional things I'll say, but there's no playbook. This is something that we literally have no playbook for. So what we do have, we have what we learned from our home environment. Good, bad, or indifferent, that's where we learned, right? And then we take what we learned into our social or our work environment. Mm-hmm. And then when we get into those environments, we're surrounded by other people that don't have a playbook. So now we have really no rules, right? Like we don't know how we're supposed to engage with each other. And so that's what then in turn takes us down often an emotional track, right? When I'm maybe receiving something that doesn't feel good, I'm delivering something that maybe doesn't feel good to the other person. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I think it's so hard. I don't believe that we have a playbook. And so then, of course, because I'm always like, okay, so what's the so what or the now what? Where my mind goes then is, how do we make it a little bit easier? And I think that if we could come into the workplace understanding in some fashion each other's rules of engagement, I think we could be in a better place. So in other words, let's say you and I are just starting to work together. We're on the same team. We have an opportunity to sit down and talk to each other. How do you like to be communicated to? How do you like to receive communication? How often do you like to be communicated to? How do you prefer to be spoken to? What's a potential trigger for you, both positively and negatively, and so on and so on and so forth? We're not having these conversations. We're hiding behind the fact that it's just really hard, but we have to come up with some way to better it because we both say the same thing over and over. communication sits at the root of all of our problems, especially in the workplace. So that's how I would answer it. What about
Yes.
yourself?
I mean, it's so true. And, you talk about being at work, right? And sitting down and having these discussions. And I will tell you, there has not been, actually, there was one workplace, and it was my most recent workplace. However, in my 53 years old, which I know everybody knows now. So you're talking almost 30 years in, corporate, whatever, professional life. I can't imagine ever really having sat down with any of the managers that I had and having that discussion. And that's because they didn't welcome it. It was, oh, we should just take that home with you, right? So like there's a huge barrier in there, which I know you are able to bring into workplaces, that you say, okay, that line that's been drawn, we need an eraser right now, and we need to permanently erase it. So I love that you do that work. And it's hard work because it's changing a lot of the minds of people that have really done business that way for so long. But that was my comment about, you. But so I'm going to get a little bit more granular, and I'm doing this because I really want our listeners to absorb this and really, really process why communication is hard. So it is hard for all the things that you talked about, Colleen. They are 100% what creates some of that barrier. But I will say that that's kind of like what we talk about up here, right? So for me, communication is so hard because of where we currently are in life and how we feel about where we are in life. Like communication is so hard because of our unresolved and resolved issues, our unresolved trauma from the past. And, this goes for both the person that is doing the communicating and the one that's receiving communication. Communication is hard because we place expectations on the people that we're communicating with, right? We have a wish versus a reality for how they will react. We confuse our intention of how we want to communicate. Another thing is most of us are really sensitive in communication to what we have personally experienced in our own life, but yet we're not receptive to what we haven't experienced. So there's a barrier in that. We also overthink what we want to talk about due to being people pleasers. We say what we don't mean, and that applies for both good and bad. And in addition, our thoughts judge before we even speak, and we don't realize it. So like, honestly, this is scratching the surface on some of those granular things, but they are really things that we don't think about. Instead, we think about, oh, where our cultural upbringing is different. They're in a different generation. It goes so much farther beyond that. And I know for you and I, that is a very key point in the program that we're putting together, that it's like, you know what? Surface talk isn't going to get us anywhere. And so I'm so curious to hear the reaction and the thoughts of our listeners, because I really want to address their thoughts on our show next week. Like if they disagree with me, it's like, hey, it's not about that. This is what I think. Share it, right? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I agree. And I want, obviously we'll second that and kind of close out with that as well. But I love, I mean, at the end of the day, it starts with us, right? Like we are the deliverers and the receivers, but in order to navigate, it starts with us, and it starts with getting so deep underneath those layers of the onion in order for us to be able to then build up much stronger going forward. So I'm super excited about what we're launching.
Listen, we are in the soil of that onion. That's how far back you have to peel it. That's what we are doing. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. I mean, it all starts. Yeah. What did you hear? What did you hear in your home? What did you hear in your workplace? What did you hear in all those things? Right. That's what we're going to bring it all to the table. All the cards are coming out.
Oh, they're all of them. The Joker. Oh, put the Joker out there. Let's do it.
All right, my friend, keeping us nice and tight. We want to thank everyone so much for tuning in preparation again for the live show that we have planned on Thursday, May 16th from 12 to 12:30 p.m. Eastern on both LinkedIn and YouTube. We really, really, really want to hear from you all. Why do you think communicating with others is so hard? Please share with us in the comments. It's part of communication, right? Deliver it back to us. We'll receive it, we'll process it, and we'll share it on the show on the 16th, which we're really excited about. So we can't
Oh,
wait to
yeah.
see you all then.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Colleen, thank you so much for joining in this like hot take. I mean, essentially, we are under 11 minutes. And if we can close out that way, we'll stay a hot take.
Awesome. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too. Bye, everybody.
Bye.